Welcome to Reinvent Your Impact. You know, this is the place where I share advice and skills that you can use to help you become a better, more confident leader. Listen, I want to say welcome again to you because this week we've been learning all about mindset. And so today I want to summarize the lessons that we've learned. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, I'm Dr. Geneva, leadership expert. And I believe with the right mindset and skills, any woman can positively influence in her family, at work, in teams, in communities, and in the causes she cares about. You don't need a fancy title to lead change, whether you run a company or a club, coach a kid's team, organize volunteers, or lead at church or in your family. You can grow and share your gifts. Now, my goal is to give you the tools that can turn that influence into greater impact so that you could make good choices, encourage others' talents, and create needed progress on issues that you care about, big and small. When women lead confidently from their strengths, families, organizations, and communities thrive. So, this whole week we've been focusing on mindset and how important it is to have the right mindset and work with it and evolve it so that we can use how we think about things as a strategy to grow and reinvent. So, what I want to do is I want to kind of summarize some of the things we've been talking about. If you remember, we started off talking about how important it was to shift our thinking around unanticipated transitions to perceive them as springboards rather than obstacles blocking our growth opportunities. And we talked about different kinds of transitions, a new career, losing a loved one, having a health challenge. And while each of those create all kinds of emotions, fear and anxiety, and some happiness and joy, each one of them provides a way for us to learn something. So we talked about looking at those transitions and pinpointing what roles we found ourselves going through as we were going through these transitions. We talked about finding the gifts in change, that in fact we've learned things and what happened. Perhaps I shared with you that I lost my husband of 40 years to cancer. And we had a great marriage. And, it was a terrible loss. And as I was going through not only losing him, but the caregiving process that went on for a couple of years, in that transition, in that transformation I was going through, in that grief process, I found I was pretty strong. Now, I knew I had strengths, but really didn't know all that I could manage, and also that I had a deep well of empathy and caring and sympathy, and I could give that as well at the same time. So we can find our gifts in the change. And we also talked about getting rid of, oh, excuse me. Mm. It's early here in the morning and I'm trying to work with it. I don't know where you are from. Please leave me a comment. I'd love to know where you're listening from. You can just put that in the comments, whether you live or on the replay. I'm coming to you from Detroit, Michigan, and it's about 7:15 in the morning. Um, but anyway, I was talking about also how important it is to, when we think about um, change and evolving our mindset, how important it is to release old beliefs and really make way for some fresh and new ones. And we also talked about um, how to shift our mindset when we're having these significant changes and finding that opportunity always in change, although it could be scary. And, we had several quotes from folk who told us that change can be scary, but what's scarier? Allowing that fear to not let you grow and go forward. And again, we focused on how to find the lessons that we've learned, what new skills or new strengths emerged from tackling major changes. I talked about how um, a client of mine was leading this project at work with someone else, and they were working very closely. They relied on each other, and that person got a new job and left the company. And this was major for my client because not only did she suffer the loss of a colleague, which we do when we work with people and they leave the company, but she also now had this project that if she wanted to do it, she had to do it alone. And so she decided to go ahead and step into it and do it and find that, she really had the strengths and new skills that she learned and she didn't know about it. So it's important to, think about what new skills or strengths we can have when we're going through some transitions and the importance of reframing any obstacles that we might face. So then rather than, I don't know how to do that, rethink, reshape that into, well, I certainly can try to learn this new thing. And not staying in that I don't know what's happening stage. You know what I'm saying? So reframe those obstacles. We also talked about, I shared with you using journaling as a technique to record the insights on new things that you've learned, skills that you've identified that you didn't know that you had, and really reflect on those pivotal moments that occurred when you discovered that, oh, something's different here, and use journaling. Now, we also spent some time on one of my favorite subjects, and that was cultivating a beginner's mindset. And I explained that a beginner's mindset, you can think about like when you first started um, learning how to drive. It was all new. You didn't know what to do. And every little thing, backing up, looking in the side view mirror, everything was new and different and kind of scary. But after a while, you could sit there and, you could lean back. You know what I'm talking about. And, you would get, today you get behind the wheel. You almost don't think about it. You know how to see things and observe and anticipate traffic changes, etc. Well, a beginner's mindset suggests that you forget all that as a leader, you act as if you don't know it all and you approach situations with curiosity, wanting to find out what's going on. Some call it like a child's mindset, that your world is full of learning about new things. And this is incredibly important strategy for leaders as they approach particularly new situations where they, of course, were probably brought into that situation because of their expertise. And you've got expertise and wisdom. And, I know that. And I ain't telling you to shelve that and forget it. What I am suggesting is that when you come into situations, you think about the strategy of putting all your experience and wisdom on pause for a moment, and then begin to ask questions, be curious, listen to your teammates, to your colleagues, to your peers, whatever that situation is. And you'll be surprised how much new information you learn. So, as we talk about evolving our mindset so that we can be prepared and ready to reinvent ourselves when we want to create greater impact, cultivating a beginner's mindset is a wonderful strategy. It really is. And so think about it. Look for different views. Look for assumptions that you have that might limit growth, your own growth. There's probably a lot of things you think go a certain way. Try to put those assumptions again on pause as you move forward, and try to think like a novice, a real newbie in certain situations. And when even when you think you have a skill that you're pretty good at, like public speaking, or communicating in any way, stop for a moment and say, well, perhaps there's more I can learn. And think about researching, well, what are the latest techniques in active listening? What are some things I can learn about how I start a speech better, or how I end it, and put in some new techniques? In other words, just don't assume you got everything, you know everything, and you got nothing new to learn. Develop, cultivate a beginner's mindset. The other thing that we talked about during the week, as we're learning how to evolve our mindset for um, uh, greater impact, is how important it is to tap into skills that are transferable. And the idea with that is that a lot. You've been through a lot, you have the experience, you have the wisdom, so you've collected a number of skills and you've got talents. And you've probably used them in certain situations. Well, when you're going to something new, like maybe a new career, or you're starting a new business, or you're moving from one city to another, that take them skills with you, put them in your suitcase and take them with you. Now you may think, well, I've been an accountant all my life, and now I'm going to run a nonprofit, something I've dreamed about all my life. And I ain't got nothing that I can transfer, because an accountant, I had to look at detail. I worked nothing but, always with numbers, and I was pretty much alone. Okay. But let me tell you, in that situation, one of the top things a leader has to do in any organization, I don't care if it's nonprofit, for profit, heading up an association, a club, or whatever, you got to deal with the money. You do. So those skills that you had as an accountant, and your attention to detail and working with budgets and dollars and cents, is going to help you wherever you go. And if you're going to run that nonprofit, that's a biggie. So I want you to remember that you can transfer your skills. So this becomes so important when we're talking about reinvention, because perhaps you do want to step into a new career, and your fear, your concern, a natural one now, is that, well, I've never done that before. I've always been an accountant. And although I want to, go into this whole new career about running a nonprofit, I'm not sure that I really have what it takes. This is why recognizing, understanding that you have transferable skills from wherever you come because you got that experience and wisdom. All you have to do is identify them, recognize them, make sure you understand what you have in your portfolio, and plan to transfer them and use them. And why this helps you is because it can give you that confidence to step into something brand new. So we talked about that. And then um, I just want you to always remember that you got it. What we're talking about here in this series of Reinvent Your Impact is we're talking about building on what you already have, the wisdom, the experience, the talent, the skills to take you to whatever next level you want to go on. So we're operating from the assumption that you've got assets. It's not a deficit. We're not in a deficit mode here. We're in an asset build on mode. Okay. And so that's what this whole series is. And that's my view of how to reinvent yourself. And so I want to leave you, I love my quotes. And if you go and look, and I hope you do, I hope you look at the other lessons because they dive in a little deeper into these pieces I've talked about today. I'm just summarizing for you, but I hope you go and look at it. And if you find value, hey, tell me about it, leave comments, like, subscribe. I would love that. I'm trying to build my channel, and I would just love to be able to talk to many, many, many more of you about how we can be the best we want to be any kind of way. So I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. Let's see if you can guess what I put this in two parts here. The moment you think you know everything is the moment you stop moving forward. Who do you think said that? She went on to say, it's important to keep learning new things, embracing change, meeting new people, traveling to new places, because it's those things that will keep your life rich with energy. And so I wanted to end this week's lessons with one of my favorite people, and I'm sure yours, Oprah Winfrey. And because she always manages to say the right thing at the right time. So please, I wish you the best of everything for this week. And remember, be the leader only you can be. I'll see you the next time. Bye.